Communicate 2 Coursebook by Kate Pickering, CD 2. Unit 7, Speaking, Exercises 3 and 4.
I'd better start looking for a new job. My contract ends next month.
That's something that's changed so much in the last 2 generations.
What do you mean?
Well, you're 26 and you've had how many jobs? 6? 7? Well, in your granddad's day, people had a job for life. You went in at the bottom, and then if you worked hard and didn't get into trouble, well, you worked your way up from there.
What about Grandad? He worked for Mercedes, right?
Yes. Well, he started off in a fairly low-paid job as a mechanic. An apprentice mechanic, to be precise.
OK. And then what did he do?
Well, I think he had some on-the-job training, and he worked hard, developed new skills and so on, so that when there was an opportunity to get a promotion, he was ready. Oh, he also studied while he was at work.
What, like a sandwich course?
No, he was working full-time and then he went to night school to get some extra qualifications.
But he ended up in sales, right?
Yes. Well, they wanted someone who really knew about the product. And your grandfather was always good at talking to people, so he was ideal. Without an academic education, he worked his way up to regional sales manager. He was an employee of the same company for over 40 years, until his retirement.
Wow. That certainly doesn't happen today.
Unit 7, Pronunciation, Exercise A.
My contract ends next month. In bright light, our pupils contract.
Unit 7, Pronunciation, Exercise B.
Imports increased in 2011. Please record your message after the tone. I refuse to see you. There are 2,000 convicts in the prison. Wine is one of Spain's most important exports.
Unit 7, Listening, Exercises 4, 5 and 6.
And my next guest on Business News Today is Lydia Marshall of the Human Resources Research Council. Lydia, you're the author of a report called New Skills for a New Age. Could you tell us what it's about?
Good morning, Max. Well, I think we all know that the world of work is a very different place now from, say, 15 or 20 years ago. And as a result, the needs and priorities of employers and managers have also changed. Over the past 2 years, we've been interviewing managers of leading companies in Britain and the U.S. to see what skills they look for in a new employee. And we've come up with a list of 4 top skills, which you really need if you're going to succeed today.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty important list for any of our listeners who are looking for work just now.
Absolutely.
Right. So, what are the top 4?
Well, one of the most important skills is effective communication.
Okay. Can you tell us a little more?
Employers are interested in people who can communicate both in writing and when they speak.
Right. So, obviously, they want people who can write clearly, spell, use grammar.
Yes, but that's not enough. They also want people who can write with energy and passion, or who can motivate and persuade other people when they speak.
Okay, so not just what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly.
Right. So, communication. What else?
Okay, now again, this is going to seem obvious. It's organization.
Right. So, what exactly do they mean by that?
In this case, they don't mean, do you have a tidy desk? It's about prioritizing what you have to do and monitoring your progress so that you keep your deadlines.
Well, that makes sense. What about number 3?
The next skill is a little more complex. Critical thinking.
Okay. What does that entail?
I think an example will help. One company that employs graduates from some of the world's top business schools said that these new employees were constantly asking what the right answer was. What the company was more interested in was them asking the right questions.
Can you explain what you mean?
The idea is that it's important not to just accept the way things have always been, but to look critically at how they could be different. No preconceived ideas. Trying to take a fresh look at everything, and then thinking about creative solutions to problems.
Well, that brings us to our final skill for the new world of work.
Right, Max. The final skill is the ability to access and analyze information.
Okay, so IT skills then. I'm sure most young people today have plenty of those.
Yes, but it's more than just knowing how to look for information. That's obviously important, and employers want people who can find information from a variety of sources: internet, books, podcasts, surveys, and so on. But one of the problems today is that we have too much information, so the ability to be selective, to analyze information, and be able to pick out what's really relevant, well, that's a very important skill these days.
Unit 7. Pronunciation. Exercise A.
Well, one of the most important skills is effective communication.
Unit 7. Pronunciation. Exercise B.
The next skill is a little more complex: critical thinking.
That brings us to our final skill for the new world of work.
Unit 7. Review. Exercise 3. 1A.
I bought my mother a birthday present.
1B.
The plan presents some difficulties.
2A.
I object to what you're saying.
2B.
That's not the subject of the sentence, it's the object.
3A.
His conduct is inappropriate for the classroom.
3B.
Metal conducts heat.
Unit 7. Review. Exercise 4.
What does your mum do?
She's an occupational therapist.
So what does that entail?
Well, she's a domiciliary social worker.
What exactly do you mean by that?
She visits elderly or disabled people in their homes and tries to help with their mobility.
Can you tell me a little more?
Sure. She gets them wheelchairs and other aids and decides if any modifications are needed.